Hello, welcome to another episode of Clutch Trick Gaming. Today, I'm going to take this 1966 Chevy Nova Supersport and I'm going to show you step by step how to build a low 8-second quarter-mile two-wheel drive car. So stay tuned. So like most muscle cars and pony cars from the era, this 66 Chevy Nova is no tire scorcher from the factory. It only runs somewhere in the area of about a 14-second quarter mile, which is probably pretty accurate to the way they would have been. Yeah, there's 14.281, 73 Pontiac TA at 14.5. Those are things I would expect. Clearly not what we need for a true drag car. So as we go into the garage and start building this car, my goal for today is to build a car that is, first of all, two-wheel drive. Second of all, I want it to be somewhere around an 8.5 second or lower in the drag strip. So I'm going to start off with an engine swap. More power is what you need. Let's just go for the biggest and the baddest, the V12. We're going to leave it two-wheel drive. And let's see here, turbos are only option. Now let's go down here and max out everything for power. For the more horses powers. Whoops. Kind of funny that after all of that, a V12 swap and everything added to it, it's still only a B-class car. Now we upgrade the brakes because they're lighter weight. Let's go to Rally Springs. Same way with the sway bars, they're just lighter. And notice your weight here, 3244. As we go to more stock type sway bars, our weight goes up. So just do that for weight only. Now we're going to add weight back in. But the added weight of the roll cage on this game does increase traction. Let's increase everything on our drive line. I'm going to look for not only drag tires. Oh wow, we got a lot of tire choices. Also going to, let's leave those front ones skinny. I'm going to look for the lightest weight wheels I can get. Ooh, what's that? I haven't seen those before. Minus 40 pounds. I know there's some new wheels on here, but I have not spent the time to look for them. We got these here. I think we can paint. Let's go ahead and use those, just in case we want to paint them later. I'll leave the stock rim diameter, and here's why. Look at weight. As we go up, we increase weight. Now realistically, I could probably go just a little bit, only gain 4 pounds, might not be that big of a deal. But anytime you're dealing with a vehicle, maybe not in the game but in real life, rotational mass, anything that's spinning, the weight actually counts for more. So 4 pounds on a spinning wheel might actually count for like 12 pounds. Let's go ahead and do the lower air dam. Not sure if it's going to help us or not, but if I reduce the downforce all the way down, I'm suspecting maybe I could actually get a lower downforce than what the car has stock. There's no guarantee on that, but it's just a theory. I'm going to try. And the hood, of course, no drag car is complete without some kind of custom hood. I'm not so big on the exposed engine on these cars, so let's do the cow hood. They're both 6 pounds. Decisions. It's important stuff. I would say this cowl induction hood is more common as far as what you would see on an actual drag car. That looks like everything for our parts. Let's load this setup. Oh, no, 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 no. Let's view this basket. Alright, so we have dropped a little bit of weight. We went from 3,100 pounds to about 2,800 pounds. We went from a whopping 350 horsepower to 1,515. And lateral G's, who cares about that? Now we are an S2 906. Let's buy this. Before heading to the track, I like to make sure the car has a little bit of a look to its own. I don't want to get into a full paint job here, so let's just kind of change up the colors a little bit. Ooh, that looks beautiful. That's amazing. But let's go with something a little different. Let's make this car look like it is being worked on at this point, which it is. It's being tuned. So anytime I'm tuning a car, I like to go into a drag race that's already set up for summertime when the road is dry. So I will actually start off with a pass that I don't change anything. We're even going to leave the tires at their stock tire pressure. So let's go see how this thing runs now with just a total stock tune on it. I think traction is going to be an issue. Yeah, just a little bit. Well, look at that. Oh, both those guys look like Audis or something. Wow, they jumped way ahead of me. What did we run? We ran an 897. Not too bad considering we haven't even changed tire pressure yet. So here, when you're tuning your own cars, don't keep getting in and out of the race. Just hit restart. Now you won't be able to collect your credits because of it, but you will be able to just back to back continually make changes on the car. It's a two-wheel drive car, so let's take our front tire pressure and run it all the way to the top. Just because we know we're not pulling up there, we want as much or as little resistance as possible. On the back, we'll go to 15 psi. Let's see what just that little change made. I am using the automatic for the simple fact that I don't have enough time to launch in manual mode. Look at what a big difference that made just changing our tire pressures. We came in first place just from that one change and dropped about 1/10 of a second off. That's huge. Now we're down to an 8.8. Let's hit restart. So I want to keep doing simple stuff first. Let's go to our arrow. Don't think this is going to make a big difference, to be honest with you, but I want to run this all the way down. Now, this is a drag car, so it's only going straight. So our differential is something we don't really need. In fact, we could actually take the differential out of a car if we were building a real car. If we did that, we would be putting in what's called a full spool. On here, we're going to just lock up our differential settings. I'm not expecting much change in my time here, but let's see, just for the fun. Dropped a little bit, not even a full 1/10, but we did drop some time. We're going to leave the alignment straight up. Our anti-roll bars, I don't usually mess with them much, but just for fun, let's see what happens. Let's run them both all the way up. What I expect to happen is that the car should stay more straight and not want to wiggle around as much when it first launches, but you can't always guarantee that on a video game. Let's see what happens. No, it's still kind of got sideways launching. No real benefit to increasing our sway bar rate at all there. Nope, no change at all. What I typically like to do with my sway bars, or anti-roll bars as the game calls it, is I like to make the front one very soft, because they can act like a spring sometimes, and leave the back one kind of firm, but not too firm. Just enough to help a little bit with keeping that launch straight. Let's change ride height only this time. We just ran an 8.80. Let's try dropping the car all the way to the ground. We'll leave a little bit of room in the back so our suspension has room to work. So let's go with like a 6-inch ride height back there. Just see if that changes anything. In theory, it should get us down out of the wind a little bit. Whoa, whoa, we're spinning everywhere. Nasty takeoff. Actually slowed us down that time. In fact, it slowed us down 7/100ths of a second. Okay, so I actually went back and ran that exact same race another time just to see if maybe I had done something wrong on the launch. I think what actually was going on there is the car is bottoming out the rear suspension and it's kind of shocking the tires and causing it to lose traction. So let's try changing only the rear ride height and see if this gives us any help at all. The other possibility is we have too much weight hanging out on the nose of the car with it being down low, and it's not allowing enough weight transfer for the car to hook up. It looked like it did okay that time, but I don't think we picked up all our time back. No, we came in second place. Wow. So we're going to run our ride height back up a little bit. Now we're only talking in real world terms here, 6.4. If I go to 8 inches of front ride height, that's only 1.6 inches. We're only talking like that much. Let's see what kind of change this made. Okay, so we're finding out that the car is not gaining time as I raise the front end back up either. But we started out with it completely at 10 inches. So let's run the front all the way to 10.7. Let's run the rear down to like 6. Lots of trial and error in getting this stuff right. The theory here is that you already have your weight up high in the front, which allows for more transfer. And it looks like that made the difference. Still not back to the speed we were, but we have picked up a little bit. In this case, as bad as I hate to do it, I'm going to run the car all the way back up to full rad height. Test it again. I want to be back down to the 8.8. Was it? No, 8. Yeah, 8.80. So it looks like fairly consistently the car is running 8.842s with the ride height all the way up. I don't like that fact, but it is what it is. with the rear down a little bit lower than the front, just a little bit. I actually was still running at the same time, so I'm going to go ahead and bump this down to 6 inches again. Thinking when we get some gear into it, it might change. Spring rates. This is where people like to do things differently. I like to run my front spring rate very high, very stiff, because the front end, all it needs to do is just glide across the ground. I like to leave the rear pretty soft, allowing for the car to transfer its weight towards the back. So we'll run that up a little bit, but not too much. Let's see what kind of change that by itself just made. Keep in mind, at this point, I have not changed gear ratios at all. No change at all in time. 8.842 is the fastest we've gone, and it seems like no matter what I'm changing right now, that's where we stay. Well, let's see here. Front rebound, that's how fast the car comes up. I want that soft so the nose comes up fast. The rear, I want that stiff because I want it to come up pretty slow. Bump, that's how fast the wheel goes up into. I always get this part mixed up. Bump. Let's see, that's the front coming down. I want that stiff. Every time I have to stop and go through the same thing. Yes, I am one of those people that has to stop and say the entire alphabet every time I try to figure out if something's in alphabetical order or not. I am. I promise. Let's see if that one little change did anything at all. In theory, it should, but I'm kind of doubting it did anything. Let's see if we run another 8.842. Oh, actually slowed us down a little bit. Just to make sure that wasn't an anomaly, I'm going to do the exact same race again with the same setups and see if anything changes. It feels faster, but I don't think it is. Oh, back to the 8.842. Looks like we're at a point now where the only thing we can change is gear ratio. But you can see, as disappointing as it is to hear, that changing a lot of this sway bars, spring rates, dampening, as much as I would love to say that those things really make an effect on a car, what you've just seen here are actual ETs, or elapsed times, are not changing as I change them. Gearing, this is where you make your money shot, usually. Gearing is where you can usually make the biggest difference because you can get the car to launch out of the hole without spinning. Now, I hate what you have to do here because it's totally unrealistic. But generally, you want to take your final drive gear ratio, which is your ring and pinion, and run it all the way to the max. Then we'll go make a pass, and then we'll start to tune each individual gear. Let's see how this goes. Now, the reason I'm having to do this is to more or less make the car bog down at launch so that it will not spin out, and we're seeing it spun. And just go instead of spin, spin, spin. So we were quite a bit ahead of those two cars that time. Let's see what our time is. 8.67. We dropped a tenth and a half just by going to a 220 final drive. That's huge. Now the car did spin a little bit, so I'm going to bump this gear right here. First gear. I'm going to take that more towards the speed side. I'm not sure how far. Let's go that far there. Then I'm going to take second, and just I'm looking at the little spot down there on the right. Just going to kind of make that. See, this is where it started. Kind of move that till it looks a little more natural. Let's see what change we made here. Could be better, could be worse. So the car just dead hooked and almost bogged down too much on the start. Actually slowed us down a bit. This is the part where it starts to take time. Back and forth, back and forth. So I want to move the acceleration down a little bit. About 5 points, or towards acceleration. Still bogged us down a little too much, I think. Back to our 8.642 there. We're going to go towards the acceleration side. 5 more clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that 5? I don't know. Now I'm totally messed up. And let's go 5 clicks down here. I'm actually not counting. I also want to look at the tack as I cross the finish line. I was at what, like 176, something like that? I've actually got my camera right in the way. Oh, we dropped a little bit of time there. 860. My goal was to get to the 8.5 range. Let's restart that. The car's still dead hooking out of the hole. What that means is it doesn't spin at all. So let's come here and let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just try that and see what happens. And when I'm getting serious, this is the way I tune every car. This slow and this methodical. Another dead hook. Pulls hard. See, that may have made some changes. Did we get in the 8.5s? We did. 8.57 just with those 5 clicks on first gear only. We got a good thing going. Let's try 5 more clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dead hooked again. That's a good sign. Looks like we didn't make much improvement there. Maybe a little bit. I kind of want to keep going down with my gear more towards the acceleration side until I finally hit a point where I'm spinning my tires or I'm losing time. Last pass was an 8.54. That felt faster. Let's see if it was or not. 8.5. Oh, we're going to actually go below 8.5. Keep in mind, I'm only changing first gear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's try it again. Still dead hooks. We are way ahead of the competition now. Eight, 4, 4, 2 with only 5 clicks of first gear. Man, let's keep doing this. I'm getting excited now. At some point, the car is going to get slower, but let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, that may have slowed us down. 8.442. Time was the same, but what I noticed was at the very end of the track, now that we're geared lower in first gear, we got to 4th gear at the end, as to where before we were staying in 3rd. So what's happening is we're taking a little bit of extra time to shift gears at the end. Couple of ways I could deal with that. I could just go ahead and accept 4th gear into the fold and try to use it, or I could start to stretch out 2nd and 3rd gear a little bit. Let's play with 2nd right now. You know what? Let's not. Let's go to 3rd gear. I don't want to shift into 4th. So let's take this 5 clicks towards acceleration. This may not change a thing, but this is drag racing. That's how you do it. I'm gonna watch down there, watch my speed. 177 look like, and still in third gear. That's a good thing. Time stayed the same. So we kept it in third gear. Our time stayed the same. Let's go back to first gear and let's keep working with it. Let's go 5 more clicks. Still dead hooks. We've changed a lot here. .40. We are about to go below 8.4s. We're going to be in the 8.3s. That's a pretty fast car. We're now getting into the territory of all of my other two-wheel drive drag cars. 5 more clicks on first gear. Still dead hooks. I'm blown away that we made this much change to first and it's still hooking like it is. Come on, baby. 8.40. No big change that time. We may have hit our limit. 1, 2, oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Watching my speed, watching my RPMs. Does it hit fourth gear? Nope. We're actually 1 mile per hour slower that time. But were we quicker? 8.3. Yes, you can go slower mile per hour and have a lower ET. 8.37. Can we get to 8.30? I don't know. I don't know if that's possible. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is kind of getting a little bit crazy. Still no wheel spin at all. .173, 78. Couldn't tell what I was seeing there. 8.37. I think that may have slowed us down. Let's go back. Let's go 5 more. .178. 8.34. We are picking up speed. A little bit out of time. 3/100ths of a second. That's a big deal. Gearing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to do this until the car stops getting faster. Oh, we spun tires. Oh, big change that time. Oh, that tore us up. 5 clicks. We went from 8.34 to what? 8.9. Huge difference. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That puts us back where we were, and now we'll go 1 click at a time. 1 click. .834, no change. One click. Still no wheel spin. We're still hooking. Somewhere within the next 3 clicks is where everything falls apart. Is it 834? Same thing. We're not changing our speed now. Let's see here, is it 834 or is it faster? 834, same thing. Somewhere within the next 2 clicks, everything falls apart. One click. Are we 1 click away from 5/10 difference? She's still dead hooks. What's it gonna be? 830. We picked up speed. Let's do it again. Is this really gonna be the point where 1 click changes everything from as fast as it can be to slow? Right back to where we were when we totally blew the tires off and couldn't hook at all. Yep, that was it. You can see right there how simple it is to totally screw up a tune. And how precise it can be. So the car hooked up a little better, but still not great. Let's go back in and move that 1 little click. Alright, let's double check ourselves, make sure it still runs an 830. If it does, I'm pretty happy with the tune at this point. Back to an 830. Now let's go work a little bit on 3rd gear. Honestly, in my experience, I've found once you get 1st nailed down and then you get 3rd roughly where you want to be, there's not a lot of change from that point on. So what we did last time with 3rd gear is we found we were hitting 4th gear at the end of the track, which could potentially slow us down, but it wasn't. And we made some changes so it stayed in 3rd just to remove any possible effect there. What we did then is we went 5 clicks to the left with 3rd to prevent hitting 4th gear. So let's go 3 clicks back down to the right. What I'm wanting to do is to get the thing to try to peak out at a higher RPM right at the very end. Oh, we just blew the tires off. And that was with our good 1st gear. That's going to be a slow pass no matter how it is. Since we spun the tires last time, let's make another pass and see what happens. My theory is... Oh, I did it again. My theory is it has to do with where your RPMs are when you launch. And you can't really control that with such a small window of time. I'm gonna have to go back to 1st gear and make 1 click change. I hate to have to do this because it's going to slow the car down, but knowing that in this tune you never know if you're going to be getting on dry surface or wet surface, you never know what the race is going to be. I'm going to have to make the car a little bit slower than what it could potentially be just so it can hook up more regularly. Let's see what that did. $8,308 by going back up. Whoops. Okay, so I've gone back and forth. I've made a few changes here kind of after finding out that the tires were breaking loose sometimes with the gear ratio that was hitting 8,308. I wound up going back a couple of clicks towards the left on first gear to get it to where it would hook up, and then we found ourselves back at 8,308 again, and then we started spinning out again, and I made other changes. Basically, I've gone back and forth a few times here, and in the end I found that the car is still consistently running 8,308, but you never know. About 75% of the time it hooks up and goes, and then sometimes it spins and it'll run at 8.7. So I want to play around now with some of these suspension parts again and kind of revisit that. Let's take our rear spring rate and run that all the way to the bottom. And let's do the same with our rear ride height. Let's take the front ride height and bring it down a little bit. Generally I don't make this many changes at one time, but I really want to try to make this thing go, and I think we're going to be good. Oh, spinning big time. That could be from having the rear end too low. Those changes actually slowed us down a bit. I was wrong. Clutch was wrong. Let's try it again just to see, just to make sure. Yep, she's blowing the tires off there big time. So I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to leave my spring rate low. I'm going to run that front ride height all the way back up. Rear, we'll bring it down just a little bit. Still blowing the tires off. What is up? You just never seem to know what you're going to get here now. The car's not consistent. Let's try the other theory of running the rear spring rate all the way up. Still no change, we still spin. Ride height, let's take the ride height all the way up and just see what we get. Again, anytime you're doing this type of tuning, there's lots of trial and error. Don't think that you can take just one idea. Oh, look at there, dead hook. Don't think you can take just one idea and make it work all the time. Now we're back to 830. Let's try it again, make sure we're still good. Yes, we are. It's that rear ride height that seemed to do the magic. Having the weight of the car up high so that it transfers back. So there you go. I just shared the 8.308 two-wheel drive drag tune for the 66 Chevy Nova. You saw how I did it. You can do your own now, but feel free to use my tune. When you use that tune, or if you've tuned your own and you have some good races where you've won with it, please share your clips with me on Xbox Live. My gamer tag is Clutchtrick. Any clips like that I may use in a future video and give you a shout out, so feel free to do that. Now I'm going to take a break. I'm going to spend some time painting this car, look for possibly a speed paint coming out of this in the coming weeks. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe for more videos like this. Also, don't forget to like this video and hit the bell notification, just like everyone else tells you. I'm having to tell you too. Just anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. I really appreciate it if you stuck all the way to the very, very end. You are the ones that make Clutchtrick what it is. Have a great day.